And now, a reading from the Ron Carnage Chronicles, Chapter 6, The Leon Bridges Over Troubled Waters, an excerpt.
Our beloved trio found themselves at the Leon Bridges spanning the Bile River. In front of each stood a man, cloaked, awaiting those who intended to pass over their bridges, the only form of river passage for miles. "F***ing hell," said Levi, as he was wont to do. No, my boy," said Ron. "This may just be all right." The trio reached the two men guarding the entrances to each of the two bridges' parallel covered structures. "Suh, dude," said the one man. "Dude, suh," said the other. "We have but two questions," said the first man. "Suh, dude," said the second man again. "Dude, suh," Ron quickly retorted, but not too eager, but also, not disinterested either, but still detached in such a way, like he cared, but he didn't, you know? All right, said the first man. Now somehow more at ease than before. Question 2 is more of a fill in the blank. Complete this phrase. Puff, puff. "Ha! All right, said the second man, giving dap to the first. "Yeah, my man, like the elders of the Nettle Realm." The thinker boy thought. The trio turned their backs to gather themselves. "Think, thinker boy, think!" Oh, Levi whispered, "Think, thinker boy, think," to his longtime bud. "Puff, puff, like rolling up the nettles and passing it around the circle, my dude," said Flappy. "Damn it, Flappy," said Ron. "You know I don't smoke." "Son of a bitch," said Levi. "Son of a motherfucking bitch indeed," said Ron. At that moment, the bridge keepers and our beloved trio realized they weren't alone along the banks of this river. A snide, bitchy fucking troll voice rang out. "Hey guys, look! It's little Ronnie Thinker Boy!" The small group of maybe half a dozen, armed with bedposts and chains wrapped around their fists and the like, snickered to themselves. One of the trolls farted. Not This is like my favorite part in the whole thing. Not only didn't this ease any of the tension, it was like super weirder now because not only did the farter seem to enjoy what he just done, they were all kind of into it more now.
Yeah. You could cut it off after look, it's little Ronnie Thinker Boy, I think. But
and that's where we'll leave our heroes halfway through chapter 6 at the newly purchased domain www.whoisroncarnage.com. And let's start the show.
That's really coming along. The team over there at Elemental FM.
Yes, the team. Dude.
Shout out to, real quick, before we get started, shout out to Julie, who is as big of a fan as Matt, but doesn't get as much love. And thanks for listening, Julie. I think we got a starting 5 now for basketball between Matt, Aaron, Julie, me, you, and I think Zach would be our first reserve off the bench. So things are looking up.
I think.
I just wanted to say, Julie, saw dude.
I think the show is only good enough for maybe one dedicated listener, so maybe they should have a battle royale.
Maybe, but also maybe not also. Hey, we're up to fans plural now. Should we have them fight and eliminate one of them? No, let's just keep them. let's just I don't know. Well, let's just see where this thing goes.
Oh god. At this rate, we're increasing exponentially from 1 to. Well, that's still.
We've doubled our profits.
Yeah, that's, I think we can tell the advertisers we have doubled our numbers in the past 2 months.
Honestly, though, I feel like I've made some money off this show just for the free stuff I've gotten.
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff. I mean,
honestly, we can get into that later, but yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
The wallet was nice.
Ooh, I forgot to order those shirts, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I'll be more pleased when we have a respectable amount of listeners, or if I can get a full outfit of swag from doing the show. Both will be pretty good feelings, but
sure.
The shirt, wallet, maybe some pants. Yeah, well, sunglasses. I think we talked about anyway. Not too bad, but yeah, Ron Carnage is coming along. It would seem you definitely enjoy it. You're having fun with this project.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I had reached out, like I said, to those dudes from You Meet in a Tavern, the D&D podcast, YMIA Tavern on Twitter, links to all their episodes. It's like seriously my favorite podcast right now. I'm trying to get them to, I want our characters to meet in like a bar somewhere, and I want,
as is tradition on their podcast.
Right. So I want kind of our characters to like meet in the same universe and go on a chapter adventure together. And I like my vision for it was like popcorn reading, but except like each person would write like a paragraph and then pass it off to like the next person.
Right. Like an improv game or something.
Yeah. It might be asking a lot. Like maybe we have a structure written out and they just write in like their lines or something. Levi?
Maybe I can just go visit them. They live in Cincinnati, so I'll just go record for half an hour with them or something.
Sorry. Yeah, that would be pretty awesome, actually. They're all super funny. And yeah, I think...
I haven't listened to their show, but if you want me to go meet up with them, I will.
Really? Well, they did invite us. Like, I didn't say that I didn't live in Cincinnati. I said that, like, the co-host of my show did, and he was like, well, you guys can come, hang out and get some beers with us if you're ever in town and down for it.
Well, you should come into town and we should do that.
Let me see what flights even look like right now.
Right. There might be some, that might be Cleveland to Denver, not Cincy, but there was
right.
one of those Spirit Airlines deals. Anyway,
Ooh.
We can do travel plans off when we're not recording. But shout out to Julie. And today we are doing an extra special episode.
So special.
It's pretty special. In that so I texted you today as what we wanted to do. And you said, I've been thinking about Cheryl Crow a little bit lately. And so that was all the I needed to hear. This is the Cheryl Crow episode. And I want to say I am disappointed in myself because I feel like I personally sabotaged the Scrubs episode just out of sheer, I don't know. I just like sleepwalked through it just because I'm a huge fan. And we didn't even talk about anything specific or like, we didn't even have a top 10 list of moments or scenes or JD cutaways or anything like that. Or
wow,
Todd
we
moments.
Didn't.
We just talked. We were just like, isn't it good? We were like, yes, we're both huge fans. But we will not let you down, Cheryl. And a sentence I didn't think I would have said before we started the show was, even though we got the Scrubs episode wrong, with God as my witness, I'll be damned if we get the Cheryl Crow episode wrong as well.
Well, there's a lot resting on your shoulders because I only know the one song that I like a lot.
Well, let's start with why the you texted me that. Like, you had to have known we were going to just make the show all about that fleeting thought.
I honestly don't know what I was thinking. Was it like super early this morning at like 5:30 in the morning that happened?
Did she pop into your head today for some reason?
So last night, not last night, I was working. I was on the roof and I started singing Soak Up the Sun. Like, it just all of these, like, I don't know.
Let's be very fucking clear, is a jam.
Right?
It's a jam. One of many by one Miss Cheryl Suzanne Crow of Missouri. Okay.
So I don't know why, but that song, along with like a bunch of others from that same era, just like all came flooding to my head, and I was singing them all day. And I was singing Soak Up the Sun a bunch, and I was like, dude, like, this song is begging to be a pop punk cover. Like, it is such a pop banger. And I was just thinking of all the cool stuff that I might be able to do with it, but I hadn't listened. I hadn't heard the song in like maybe a decade. So I started listening to it to hear the arrangement. And I don't know, dude. It's just, I think it might be the only song I really know by her, but.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. She's one of those artists. Maybe she is appropriately rated and well-known enough that many listening will be like, you guys are just kids. But I think you would know probably 8 of her songs, and I'm going to try to prove that today.
Probably, okay.
And then you just don't know it yet, and you're like, oh, damn, I'm the biggest Cheryl Crow fan of all time. It's kind of like John Mayer a little bit. You're like, wait, I know 10 John Mayer songs? Like, yeah, he's actually, he's an okay blues guitarist. Like, you just come to these realizations at moments you don't expect to. But, yeah, I think you're a huge Sheryl Crow fan, Tom, and that's what we're about to dive into. And I'll start with this. The song Makes You Happy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Why the Hell Are You So Sad? Which I think falls into the category of song that is just utterly dangerous to listen to when you're alone. Similar to the Counting Crows' Long December. It's just one of those tunes that is just really immediately going to be like, yep, you're in this mode of thought now. Like, ponder everything now, bitch. You're stuck. It's like kind of a web of weird. But yes, If It Makes You Happy is a jam. Soak Up the Sun, as we have mentioned. The cover, first cut is the deepest, I'm sure you're aware of.
Oh, yeah, that's Sheryl Crow?
All I Want to Do is Have Some Fun.
That's Sheryl Crow?
That's Sheryl Crow.
Ooh, yo. I might need to start a Sheryl Crow cover band.
She covers Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. She sings the song, A Change Would Do You Good. Change, change would do you good.
I don't know that one.
You know that song. But, and then Every Day is a Winding Road.
Oh, yeah. God.
Yeah, yes, yeah. You're the biggest Sheryl Crow fan I know, Tom.
It's pretty wild.
Yep, welcome to the podcast, folks. That's it. I hope you'll join us next week for... No. I'm just saying. Okay, here's my question for you then. Is she underrated, overrated, or appropriately rated?
Well, the internet wasn't really like a thing back when I was listening to her songs in the back of my mom's like white old Buick when I was like 6.
Does the fact that your mom was listening to her in a Buick hurt or help her cred?
I don't know how she was rated at the time. I mean, if she had a bunch of songs on the radio, then she was a big deal. But maybe people aren't thinking about her enough right now. They're too focused on the new Chance the Rapper song that he just released on Colbeirt.
Yeah, that was my song of the week, actually.
Are you serious?
Well, I have a backup just in case you picked that one.
No. I actually heard it like as I was finishing up the edit for Ad Astra.
Yeah,
like
First World Problems. It's
ago.
pretty good. We'll touch on that later. But
wait, maybe we're talking about two different songs.
No, I think we're referring to the same. He performed it live on Colbeirt like last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the title is First World Problems is what it's called. Where he talks about how fame is kind of ruining his life.
He talks about
which is like a logical step for his career. He's like freshly on top of the world and wants to spend time with his daughter. Not the first, won't be the last, but I hope he survives it. Anyway. But yeah, Sheryl Crow, she's currently, my mom and dad just saw her in Hershey, PA.
What?
She's touring with Willie Nelson, the Avett brothers.
Avett, I think so.
I think Willie Nelson's son or grandson, something like that. And not Cat Stevens, the guy who sings Domino and Brown Eyed Girl, Van Morrison, which is a blockbuster tour. So she's obviously not irrelevant. I'm not sure she has been since she burst onto the scene, but
sure.
The career. It's interesting to me that she's a mom Buick car tune gal.
I mean, it was FM radio.
I think here's the real question. Well, okay, that does change things drastically. I would give you that. I think it would be very telling, and if you Google this for me while I talk, it'll be like, it'll help, it'll like sway it one way or another. Were one of her songs on the soundtrack to Eat, Pray, Love, the movie adaptation of the book starring Julia Roberts?
Googling now, I have not seen that movie. Okay, there's an AMP article from 2010s that says Barry Manilow in More and in AC Eat, Pray, Love I hate like some of the ways that journalists do headlines with like it's like not even like a real sentence.
Well, buy a newspaper then if you want journalism. Don't go to music blogs.
It's not. It's Press of the Atlantic City. Sheryl Crow adopted another kid. Okay.
Radical. Which might add to what type of celebrity she is, which we can touch on later. Like there's the Angelina Jolie part of the realm, and then there's
Right.
the Gwyneth Paltrow part of the realm where you don't adopt a kid, you just name them something odd. There's like a huge spectrum I guess we can delve into at a later date or never. Nobody
And
wants
then
to hear that.
there was one famous celebrity who like baby birded her kids' food, and then another one that like breastfed them until they were like 8 or something. There's some.
This is all news to me. I'm not very surprised by that all. But I guess what I wanted to say is Cheryl Crow. I was reading her Wikipedia page before the show. She's from Missouri. She went to University of Missouri, which would make her a Tiger, I think. The Mizzou Tigers, I think, unless I read it wrong. Anyhow, started off as a music teacher, which allowed her to perform at bars on the weekends, and eventually hooked up with a record producer and made it to St. Louis and things like that, and her career exploded. But if you listen to Soak Up the Sun, which I don't know if it was her first hit, but it's one of her first hits, the lyrics are super singer-songwriter, like, I'm young, I'm 20-something, maybe late teens, I'm in LA for the first time. And she talks about, like, this guy going by Mac, Bud, or Buddy, peeling the labels off his beers, his bottle of beers, things like that. It's kind of a rambling, not Bob Dylan-y necessarily, but it's definitely, I guess, more ambitious than some of her later hits. And I just wonder if she ever stood a chance in the first place, because she's obviously an attractive woman with a nice smile. If the industry, she seems to have fought off the industry with all her might, or so it seems. But I just was curious of your thoughts on if she set out, given the lyrics of Soak Up the Sun, to be a Mom Buick Eat, Pray, Love artist, or if she wanted to be the Mac, Bud, or Buddy peeling off his labels from his bottles of beer, LA hippy dippy, and whether or not she would have succeeded in those endeavors.
Well,
which is like the douchiest set of sentences I've ever said on this show, but I'm honestly curious because I've listened to Soak Up the Sun dozens of times, and yeah. And then First Cut is the Deepest is like a hit from the early 2000s when we were in junior high, which is a cover dating back, which I also looked up before the show, that back to the 60s. It's been covered by Cat Stevens. It's been covered by, not Neil Diamond. Oh, people are going to crucify me for getting that one wrong. Let's see. No, not Neil. I just said not Neil. The guy that they said Nate Pohl used to look like.
What? Tom Petty?
Kinda.
I have no idea. All those old people are not.
Oh, okay. Cat Stevens, Rod Stewart, but it was originally performed by P.P. Arnold, I think. So
P.P. Arnold,
which is like no. If you look up the Ed Sullivan Show clip, it's actually a super powerful performance.
Oh, it's so funny.
Credit to Rod Stewart for nailing the cover better than Cat Stevens, in my opinion.
Okay,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, so she's singing like, "I'm about to fall in love with this random guy who looks too uptight at the bar," and but I just want to suck up the sun mostly. Like, I'm young, hello. But then it's like, I'll just cover First Cut as the Deepest and sell like a few thousand records and tour. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm oversimplifying, but I'm just suggesting that if your mom is listening, I'm curious to hear which song your mother was listening to in the car as well.
Yeah, I remember Soak Up the Sun for sure.
Okay, fair enough. So you weren't lying when you were like, I got not much more than saying her name out loud to contribute.
True. So actually, I did some research this morning. I think as I might have been texting you as I was eating breakfast on what I like to call the breakfast chair. It is the chair where
is it different than any other
breakfast.
chairs?
No, it's just the chair that I sit in sometimes, but mostly for breakfast.
I like it. I actually love that. I really do.
It's pretty awesome.
I eat breakfast all over the damn place, and I have no sense of stability in my life. Like, I always feel lost.
Usually,
I try this out.
Usually, I just eat in the car, but I like woke up like at my third alarm rather than like. I set 4 alarms, and I usually.
Do you sleep in the same bed as Megan?
Yeah, dude. I think
she have an opinion on this third alarms business. So
I set 4 alarms, and I probably cycle them 3 times before I actually get up.
What? Dude, that is fucking. You are you're waterboarding Megan every morning. This is.
She doesn't even notice, dude. I have it on super low, and she has earplugs in. So.
Oh, earplugs. Interesting. Jesse's an eye like a covering the eyes
Really?
lady.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know how to feel at first. I was like, whoa, Hollywood's, I'm inclined to believe this is some diva behavior based on Hollywood movies. Some of those movie films.
You know, not that I can say any better about Megan. Sometimes she'll just put a whole pillow over her face.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, fair enough. Which might be like, I'm killing myself because Tom's alarm just went off for the. It's like there's been a baker's dozen amount of alarms this morning. It's time to just turn the off switch, man. It's over now.
So I woke up on my third alarm. I was able to eat on the breakfast chair, and I was researching. So I was listening to pop punk covers of "Soak Up the Sun," which there weren't many. There were some like quote unquote rock or like, you know, indie rock type stuff, which is not dissimilar from the original song. But the last song, I got my 45 on, so I can rock on. What does that mean to you?
I'm not good with music tech, but I always assumed either it was a specific type of Fender or maybe a type of amp or I don't know. You're in the sound business. What is it? What is it?
So I thought this was interesting because when I hear 45, I think of a pistol, right? Like a 45 caliber. I'm like, clearly she's not talking about that. So I Googled it and I found...
Well, I think it's safe to assume that she's not.
So I Googled it, and the most reliable source of all time, Yahoo Answers. I don't know who goes into that
shit.
But so it was like, what does she mean? Like a Colt 40 or like a 45 caliber handgun? And people were just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course not. And then someone thought maybe
isn't that the most depressing thing when you go to Yahoo Answers and the question somebody else phrased the way it's in your head as you Google it is immediately shit on. Like, I'll never say this out loud ever because I was so fundamentally incorrect.
So the second
hey, any chance Cheryl Crow murdered that dude Buddy in that bar with a 45? I don't know, like, is rocking on a killing spree to her? Like, is rock and roll lifestyle just a homicidal spree? It's rock and roll, bitch.
So the second suggestion, and this is what I think makes the song so cool, is that there were like 5 different interpretations. Someone said maybe it means Colt 45, which is also a handgun, I think. But it's a beer that they gave no sources, but they said she is known to enjoy. That was also shot
if she's
down.
at a bar in the song with this guy, Mac, Buddy, or Bill, he's peeling the labels off his bottles of Bud. So he's drinking a Bud Heavy, I think, in this song. I don't know if bars are known to serve malt liquor, which is what a Colt 45 would be, I believe, like served in a 40 ounce.
Okay.
I don't know if usually at gas stations, but it's definitely not like something that, hey, you want a fresh pint like from the draft of like malt liquor? You know what I mean? It's just like, I'd be surprised if a majority of people who drank it weren't under the age of 19. You know what I mean?
Okay, so she's not like brown bagging it at the bar, drinking her own.
But then
40.
again, starving artist in LA, maybe she snuck a beer in, or maybe, I don't know. I honestly, what were the other options?
Okay, so so that seems like maybe credible, yeah, but like, some other people think 45 record, which is like a 45 RPM, a 7-inch record, right?
Sure.
Because she's
this is
rocking
a very likely
on,
option.
right?
Yeah.
But
given the context of the lyrics and her being like the songwriter in the bar, that seems pretty likely.
But does she bring her own 7-inch records around with her to put them on so she can rock on?
Well, if she's soaking up the sun, it would... No, we're fucking doing this. Don't laugh at me, you son of a...
No, is she bringing her turntable to the beach?
I'm thinking if she's soaking up the sun, it's a song about relaxation and enjoying the moment and not rushing through life and getting to know that douchebag Bud at the bar that drinks Bud while other people are getting their car washes and shit like that. It's like 11 a.m. They're at a bar. They're both fuck-ups that day, and they're both kind of like taking solace in that fact. And she's like, this is all right. I can do this. I just want to soak up a little sun today. That's my mission. Maybe she puts on a record when she gets home or did that morning. I doubt she's housing 40 ounces at the bar. I want to rule that out. I don't know if I can for sure. I'm going to go say it's definitely not a gun. It's like for sure not a firearm. But yeah, she's listening to some tunes. It's a song about reeling in the years and throwing away the time.
One more theory. Are you ready for it?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Because this might throw a whole wrench in your tunes theory. Do they make SPF 45? If she's soaking up the sun, is she putting on sunscreen, do you think?
What's the lyric?
I got my 45 on so I can rock on.
Yeah, it's a record. It's definitely not sunscreen.
Dude, you think it's not sunscreen?
Not only do I think, I know it's not sunscreen.
Oh, dude. Oh my God. It's most definitely sunscreen.
Tom, have you even heard the song, or are you still like referring to the thought you had yesterday subconsciously of the chorus to it?
Okay, do I need to read every lyric in this song right now?
You need to listen to it. You need to spend the next 5 years listening to it about 30 times a year, and then come back with opinions about whether or not she's actually in love with Bud, Mac, or Buddy, and whether or not she wants to be living this life. It's a record. I'm just telling you. I've spent not even embarrassing. I think she's a solid. That's, I guess, another question we'd have to tackle is okay, so there's as we've established, two very different versions of Cheryl Crow. There is the singer-songwriter young Cheryl Crow, and then there's, First Cut is the Deepest cover song, Cheryl Crow. Is it all right to like Cheryl Crow?
It's all right to like whoever you want to like. Yes,
Tom, but you can't tell me if, like, you were at work in an office setting and your boss walked in and, like, First Cut is the Deepest was playing, you wouldn't be a little like, oh.
So let me tell you what I've been playing on the roof and in the van lately over the past couple days.
Okay.
Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande, and, well, I mean, so.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. And I have,
if you enjoy the music, you enjoy the music.
And I have some, actually, I have a really good cover of Beautiful by,
James Blunt song?
No. Oh, God. The I am beautiful.
See, but there is a line.
No
you
matter
just said, oh,
what
God.
they say.
Oh, Christina Aguilera.
Yes. Covered by Clem Snide. And I've been listening to that absolutely nonstop. So those three
songs. Okay, but let's bring it back to when you just said, ooh, when I mentioned
You're
James
beautiful.
Blunt. Right. I'm just saying there is a line, but what you're saying is overwhelmingly, yes, it's okay to like Cheryl Crow.
Yes.
Are you saying it's a little weak sauce to enjoy the music stylings of James Blunt? Or at least that one hit?
My personal opinion is that I would not listen to that on the roof, to say.
Sure.
I wouldn't listen to it in my car, in the bar, in the house with a mouse. Here or there. I would not listen anywhere.
That's true. It is a really super duper brutal song.
It's awful.
Apparently he has an outstanding Twitter account. He apparently has a very good Twitter follow with a good sense of humor. So he's very self-aware, it seems. So good on you, James Blunt. And sixth grade was a big year for me, and that was the soundtrack to that year for sure, whether I liked it or not, given the radio play it got pre-Spotify era. So keep doing you, James Blunt. No disrespect intended.
You're beautiful. All right. I think we've been talking about Cheryl Crow for way too long.
It's the fucking Cheryl Crow episode, Tom. What did you think I meant when I said, yeah, we're going to do a Cheryl Crow episode?
So to put this in perspective, all right?
Son of a motherfucking...
to put this in... to put everything
I gotta run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. For the listeners, to put this in perspective, when we did the Katy Perry, or when we did the Taylor Swift episode, I think Pat said, I have maybe 5 minutes of material on Taylor Swift, and then we went a whole 100 minutes on Katy Perry versus Taylor Swift, unplanned, just nothing. And then when Pat asked if I wanted to do a Cheryl Crow episode, and I said absolutely not, he said I probably have a solid 40 minutes. And just by the math, he can probably go for like 7 hours if we're using the same 5 minutes to 110. I don't know how much more I can do, but it sounds like he's on. Oh, quiet.
You there?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Where were we?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, you hadn't heard that one.
I haven't, actually.
We're back, baby. Talk about Cheryl doing our thing.
Our Twitter is just exploding with people wanting us to cover Cheryl Crow in depth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Are people actually tweeting?
No.
Well, you have tweeted during the show before.
Should I be tweeting?
No, not necessarily. I'm just saying, I thought when you said that, I was like, oh, shit. People are listening.
I wish we could do live episodes. Like, I wish we had the audience to do that.
True.
Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Ooh.
I like the idea. Sorry, I cut off our flow, Joe. Where were we?
I don't know. I'm tweeting at Cheryl Crow now.
Okay. Wait, be careful. What are you saying? Don't disrespect her. She's a goddamn legend.
No. Well, first of all, what I like is that her Twitter handle is Cheryl Official. She's like in first name basis with the world. She's Cheryl.
Yeah, I like that. She's straight up owning Cheryl, which is a cool move.
So I don't want to bring things...
Well, is it? I don't know, because the transition to... But she doesn't go by just Cheryl. That's just Twitter. Never mind. I take it back. I was thinking along the lines of one named artist like Bono and things like that. But she still goes by Cheryl Crow.
Yeah.
But Cheryl Official. Okay. Well, signing up for a Twitter account. We're all human. We'll have to go through that. What's taken and what's not taken. By the time she got there was probably 7 weird fan accounts that,
sure,
were every iteration of her. I mean, you tried to make a Ron Carnage Twitter the other day, and it took a second.
Yes,
to figure that ish out.
There were so many variations of Ron Carnage. It was like, what the? Or no, there were so many variations of the Thinker Boy, which pissed me off. I wanted the Thinker Boy so badly.
That's incredible.
So yeah, Ron Carnage does have a Twitter account. It's just at Ron Carnage. And he is.
We make it sound like it was impossible when really the most obvious choice was not. I was like, underscore maybe? You're like, oh no, I can just do it without the underscore. I'm so pissed. Like, oh, okay. Oh, you mean just the name isn't taken? That's cool. That's trill. That's pretty trill, I guess. That's moderately trill.
The trillinest.
Yes.
God, I had something I wanted to say. It wasn't about Cheryl Crow, though. But now I can't remember.
That's all right. I would like to go through the songs and try to rank them real quick.
Okay.
While we're still on it. We can go off.
Soak Up the Sun, number 1.
Why would you start at 1, man? But, I mean, we're not... Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Now we go back to 5.
Apparently she made $40,000 on a McDonald's ad once early in her career.
I just saw that Soak Up the Sun was the whole music video was a promotion from some airline.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
good for
Unwritten
her.
by Natasha Bedingfield or whatever was the opening to Laguna Beach, the pseudo-reality TV show. So everybody has a price tag, I suppose.
Sorry, American Express.
Was it used after it was written? Was it used after it was written, or was it written for the ad?
It says the video was part of a promotional deal with an American Express. During the shoot, footage was also collected for an American Express commercial, which came out looking very similar to Crow's video. They paid for...
So the song was written differently. It was just an innovative way to do the ad.
Yeah, so they paid for part of the production costs, hoping that viewers would remember their product every time they saw the video, since it looked so much like the commercial. Wow. And also,
that's quite something.
So there was a kind of a loophole where MTV does not allow sponsors to pay for their videos, but because the card never appeared in the video, they didn't know about the deal and gave it plenty of airplay.
They really got him there. Here's my question.
Incredible.
Did your mother, while driving that Buick, while listening to Cheryl Crow, first cut at the deepest, I'm presuming, or assuming I should say, did she have an American Express card?
Yeah, with an unlimited cap on that.
Unlimited cap?
That's how she bought the Buick with the FM radio. that played Cheryl Crow in Nothing But Cheryl Crow.
Okay, now this is starting to get a little fucked up. I think we're really stumbling onto something here.
No, it's not true. I specifically remember.
I just heard a knock at my door, dude.
What?
The feds are onto us. What? Shut it down. Shut it down. Paul's not dead. Paul's not dead.
He's with Tupac.
If you play this backwards, it's another episode of Ron Carnage, just like slower and weirder.
Wait, what?
Play the episode backwards. It's an episode of Ron Carnage. It's been carefully plotted out.
I do remember listening to I Saw the Sign by Ace of Base in that car, and it was my favorite song for a very long time. And I do remember a song, I think it was Otis Redding, maybe? In the middle of the night, I've been walking in my sleep. Whatever the melody is, I don't even know. But I thought for years that he said, I've been walking it in my sleeve, like a long sleeve shirt. And I just like pictured this like little dude like dancing down along like a blue flannel long sleeve shirt singing the song. And it's just like, didn't even question it. Of course he's walking on his sleeve. That's how the song goes.
I love all of what you just said, like a ton. Just like looking at people like, stretching out the end of the cuff. Like, this is it's a fucking sleeve, bro. This is about as sleeve as it gets. And I'm walking.
Good stuff.
I guess.
I really wanted to do an episode on things that you thought as a kid that were like absolutely not true at all. Like that he sang walking on my sleeve. Maybe someday that's going to actually take some prep work.
Okay. Let's do the top 5 real quick and we'll move on to the the fact and the highlight and all that.
Wow. So soon.
I feel you. What's that? Oh, no, we can keep going, but let's wrap Cheryl up and give her an appropriate Viking funeral and carry on with the program.
All right.
What's tough is All I Want to Do and Soak Up the Sun are very similar hits, which I think, I don't know if it hurts her cred overall, maybe. But All I Want to Do is have some fun, and All I Want to Do is Soak Up the Sun. Not only did those fucking phrases rhyme. I don't know, man. That's tough. So, but Soak Up the Sun might be her best. I got a feeling I'm not the only one. I'm going to say that's 5. All I Want to Do is 5 because it's so similar to what is probably number 1.
Wow.
Every day is a winding road. Oh, God, that's tough. That might be 3. Hold on. Change Would Do You Good might be 5. All I Want to Do might be 4. Every Day's a Winding Road might be 3. If It Makes You Happy might be 2, just because of how fucking heavy that song is. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it falls in the category of dangerous songs. Long December by the Counting Crows, like I said. Just songs that like are going to fuck you up and like you see it come across your Pandora or whatever. And you're like, not at work, not now. I don't need to have this, like, just stare into space for the next 5 hours. Like, is existence meaningless? You know, like, God it, Dreads dude from Counting Crows, you've done it again. But because it falls into that heavy, but you can't like diss it because it is, I don't know if you call it a classic, but it definitely falls in the category of like songs that when you were young, it fucked you up. So you have to at least give it the street cred that it had earned back then. Anyway, Soak Up the Sun is probably number 1. I don't think she ever improved on it. She's kind of like Weezer, I guess, in that way. Just kind of, that was about as good as it was going to get from the start, which is nothing to be ashamed about. And thanks, Cheryl, for everything you've done for Tom's mom and myself. She used the credit card you sold to buy the car to listen to the tune. Capitalism at its best, baby. This is America. A divided nation. Oh. Anyway.
Good stuff. I like your list. I think it's interesting how your number 1 song is very similar to another song, so you put that other song last?
I think it's a worse version of this. It's like she knew how to get the hit or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're into relaxing? That's what you're into? Cool. We weren't. No, actually, we were totally aware of that based on your first hit. Just, come on, give us. You want me to go sad? Yeah, go sad. And she did. Effectively.
Okay. Wow. Well,
there you go. There you go, folks. Everything you needed to know about Cheryl Crow wrapped up into an efficient 41 minutes.
Probably 40 after I take out the part where you...
It'll be like 32, and it'll be a very incomplete history of the Cheryl Crow story.
Okay, are we moving on with Cheryl Crow?
No. Next order of business.
Is the next order Cheryl Crow?
Well, we did the top 5. No, we have a couple segments to get to. I wasn't sure if you wanted to revisit the Ron Carnage progress or go to highlight or factoid.
Well, I do have some big news that I do want to break.
Yeah, you admit. Okay, that's right. I'm not going crazy. You actually had something that you wanted to bring up.
But should we do Ron Carnage? I'm always down to talk Ron.
No, I kind of want to hear the news now, actually.
Okay. So, Megan and I applied for a home loan.
Whoa.
So, there was a house. Dude, let me just send you a link to the pictures of this house because
whose name is it in?
What?
Whose name is it in, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's in both of ours, which is why I'm not expecting to actually get the loan. With the one of the questions was like, have you ever defaulted on a loan? And it was so like humiliating to check yes because of the student loan thing. My credit score is still within the bounds. Like the mortgage with taxes and insurance like isn't much more than we're paying for our awful apartment right now. But I'm sending,
which is good, right? Because you're
right. So I'm sending you the pictures
in a property as opposed to throwing your money away on a rental.
Right. So I'm sending you the link to Zillow right now where the house was. We found it because the price was only like $330,000, which is just an absolute ton of money. But for Denver, that's like half the price of the average house here. We emailed the realtor and we were like, hey, can we get a walkthrough of this property? Just kind of wanted to see it for fun. And they were like, oh, sorry, the house is already sold. It sold last year. I was like, oh, that's weird. We were off on Saturday. So we drove out there and saw a for sale sign at the house. And we were like, what the hell? So we called the number on the sign and the dude was in the house. He was like, hey, yeah, just come inside. You can check it out. And I've never loved a house so much in my entire life, Pat. Like it is.
What's the down payment?
Well, it happens to be in an area considered a rural area. And there is a federal program to get 100% financing with zero down on properties that are in this approved area.
Cool.
And for the lenders, they're like very low risk loans because it's backed by the government. So they like you can get away with like a lower credit score to get this loan.
Yeah, Jesse and I were thinking about that. Like if you just go to the places they tell you, it won't cost a lot to go.
Yeah, so like this place is called Evergreen. It's in the mountains, and this is like right off of 70, which is like a bigger highway. It's like a mile off. But like right before you hit the property, it turns into a dirt road. And like this house is built into the side of a granite like cliff, or not cliff, but like hill. And it is, I can't even describe how much I love this place. I mean, it
looks great.
So like
it should be the Colorado state flag.
It is. It's incredible, man. Like the master bedroom has like vaulted ceilings, and the bathroom in there, like the sink is like just made out of like rough pine, and the top of it is like a rough stone slab. Like it's not polished. The edges are like, it's not like a straight line, you know, like in the bathtub, there's like stone cuttings of like the mountains as part of like the tile, which is just stone. And then like the other shower, it's 2-bedroom, 2-bath with like another room downstairs that would be the recording studio. And like the other shower has like, it's all stone, and there's like 2 like seats in it with like dual shower heads. It's like, what the hell, dude? And like a wood burning fireplace, and it looks kind of like a cabin, but it is absolutely beautiful, man. The kitchen is gorgeous. I love the living room. Like the property is just like woods, man, like woods on the side of a hill, and it would be ours, like actual property with a stream running through it, man. Oh, and
it looks incredible.
Dude. And the price, man, the price is amazing, and it's gone down $30,000. And the realtor was like, yeah, we haven't had much interest because like it's well water and there's a septic system rather than like, um, like,
A
God damn it,
municipality
sewage or
providing the
whatever.
service.
What now?
It's different than having a municipality provide the service of water, right?
Right. I'm used to well water. I haven't done septic before, and I know that it is like you can probably add an extra $100 a month to when you have to get that like plumbed out every couple months.
It's code for you're out there, right?
But it's not really that far out there. Like the actual.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying,
right.
There are certain pros and cons to every decision in life, and this sounds like you've talked about Evergreen before. This sounds like a no-brainer for you.
It's a 25-minute drive from downtown Denver. It's a mile off the main highway. And like the town of Evergreen itself, like has a Target, I think there's a Walmart and like King Soopers, which is like the Kroger grocery store. But then like the old downtown is like this super cute little like boardwalk on like a, 1-lane street with restaurants and stuff. Like the place is incredible. And I was like, dude, let's apply for a loan, whatever. But man, it's still, I don't think I can do it without a better job, making more money. A bunch of people have been getting fired from where I work for like really small safety infractions, like not wearing a hard hat when they're supposed to.
Are you able to make rent now?
I am, but I'm also not paying 2 of my student loans currently. So when those, they're kind of like on hold for a little bit more. So when those come back in, it could be like an extra like $700-800 a month, and I can't do all of that. You know what I mean?
Who can, dude? With the rent on that house I just saw, the mortgage is $1,200 a month.
Well,
I guess cut that in half. That's $600, but that's still $1,500 for you alone between loans and
the payments. The payments would be about $1,900 a month. But we're paying like $16 right now for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Let's be clear to the listeners. This is like a mansion of a house. It's like a pristine in the country house where like gangs of marauders with masks over their heads would gather around and slowly close in before they killed you. Like it's a beautiful country home.
It's like 1,400 square feet.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's stupid nice, and it'd be a miracle and so cool if you got it. I'd be cheering for you the whole way.
So what we're gonna try to do? We canceled our wedding plans because
dude, just go to the courthouse, man.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. If we do a wedding for like $2,000, she asked her parents if we can take the like leftover of like what they were going to give us and just put it down on the house, because that would reduce our payments like $180 a month if we put like $13,000 down,
Dude, don't even have a wedding till you're I'm just go to the courthouse tomorrow, don't tell anyone, and then just hire some dude to pretend like it's for real when you have the family around, when you can afford it. You know what I mean? Be like, we're going to delay the wedding a year. They're like, oh no, are they having problems? But like, you're legally married the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, fuck everybody. Like, do what you got to do. Lock down that beautiful home. And
I am worried about the credit and everything, and
as you should be. I mean, we've discussed it on the program before.
Right, my credit.
You got f***ed hard, and you're still getting f***ed.
My credit score, it was like in the 720, 730s, and just today it dropped to 666. How do you like that?
I was trying to like early 2000s metal pig squeal. Didn't work. It just sounded like I was dying. Yeah, there it is. The Steve Buckman crab walk. Whitechapel just like urging people to like die before the song ended. Like, you could turn us off, or you could just call it quits for the whole human race because it's not looking good. Like, wow, like you moved records doing these things, making these noises. You sons of b****s. Maybe they're geniuses. Maybe they all went to Harvard. I don't fucking know. I just know I was upset by it. Any version of what that story was is not pleasing to me whatsoever. And, anyway.
But anyway,
here we are perpetuating the pig noise lore.
It was it was a big moment in my life. I'm not expecting to get the loan, but also if we do, I don't think we can actually buy the fucking house. Like, it would be great timing because our lease is up and the price has already dropped a lot.
Maybe the realtor. I don't know, man. I have no idea. Maybe the seller. Maybe septic tank things are tough sells nowadays in the Grubhub culture, and maybe you'll get lucky and they'll come down an extra 20,000 or something. And be like, I don't know. It depends. But I mean, like, the Denver realtor market is absurd. Everybody knows this. Austin as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised a mile off, and even within like a 30-mile radius of the city, I'm surprised. I don't know. Unless it's cooling off and this is rural enough that they want to just get it sold. Maybe there was a murder there. Maybe you could stage a murder there.
Well, the guy who bought the house kind of flipped it, I think, is what happened. But to put
he's going to want his nut, I take it.
Well, I think he only put like some drywall and like new counters in. It's not like he did.
No, that's not
much.
Flipping it. That son of a bitch.
But to put
watching this old house and like going to Home Depot for a Saturday, and you can get complete sets of cupboards whole. I don't know. That guy.
To put the Denver market into perspective, there's a house around the corner from us that is 1,000 square feet. Like 2 bedroom. Is that
big or little?
It's tiny. I think my apartment is like a little smaller than that. So it's 1,000 some square feet. I think 1,100. It sold in 2006 for $60,000, which is like, okay, you know. Last year it sold for $630,000. So that is a 10x in 10 years.
Here's my advice, Tom. Don't buy a house in Colorado right now. That's my financial advice. It's not a sound investment.
So people
That's
are saying...
what I should say if I'm your grandpa, but I'm your friend, so I'm going to be like, sounds dope, dude. There's a stream.
People are saying that there's going to be like a bubble burst, which I definitely don't disagree with that. But 330 is still like way below average. Especially for Denver. You know, Denver, if this house was in Denver, it would have been $700,000, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd.
So, like, I know nothing. And please, if there's a financial person listening to this, write in, correct us, because we want to just have the right information. It is my assumption that, and this is only going off anecdotal stories about Austin and Denver, after living in New Mexico, hearing about people coming down from Colorado and telling my roommate stories and things like that. My sister who lives in Austin, they all complain about there being too much traffic for the highways, as is, in Austin at least. And corner apartments in Denver selling for this and that. There's every story about that house you just described. It would seem like not a sound financial decision to move to a place at the peak of the market and then buy at the peak.
Right.
And then, because there's a small chance that you'll stay even, but a big chance that Colorado becomes uncool in the next 15 to 30 years, depending on what the mortgage length is, right?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and be psyched for you, but I feel like it's worth the exercise just walking through how this might not be a sound investment. Unless you just don't give a f*** and just want to be there forever, and you're like, I want to have land, I'm here, this is my home, and f*** everything, you know?
Yeah,
but if you see yourself moving ever, then maybe just rent until you're done with Colorado.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Unless exponential growth is possible. I mean, not that many states are on the verge of also legalizing weed. I think we're up to like 4 or 5, including Alaska. But, I mean, I don't know. If that was driving the whole bubble to expand in the first place, it's tough, man. It's super tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I would just love... I can't wait until we do an episode where you don't have student loans anymore, is really where this is coming from. I just don't want you to get into another snare trap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, dude. I don't know. I don't have my hopes up for the house. I'm not even 100% sure if I want to buy a house. Probably like 50-50 on that.
I know I just took like a giant soggy Duke on your dream.
Hey, no, dude. I mean,
it was worth mentioning, right? I mean, like, this could not go well.
I told Megan I don't even know if I wanted to apply for the loan, especially because it's going to affect my credit, you know, when just applying for it. But
unless you
I don't
made
know.
it her house and she went into it with her parents or something, and I don't know.
See, I said, what if her dad just buys the house? He's trying to sell one of his houses. He buys the house. We rent to own. He makes, a profit on the investment.
Yeah, charge you guys an extra $100 a month or something, and then the money's going to a family member.
Yeah.
Instead of letting a third party come in with the loan. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's enough of the house talk. There'll be pictures in the show notes. Elemental.
Yeah, it's a beautiful home. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
I just...
Elemental.fm/reminiscent/44.
Right. Went from reminiscent to future planning pretty quick. I don't know. The mortgage length, though, bro. We're all sitting here but dude. It's yeah. Let's talk about the 15% 10%. No, I'm just kidding.
So do you want to do...
It was beautiful, though. I was jealous when I saw the picture. I was like...
Oh... Dude, okay, so the pictures don't even do the full place justice. Out the bedroom window, you have a really nice big window that goes into you can kind of see the neighbor's house through the woods, but it's mainly just woods. And then in a smaller window to the other side, it's just literally this house is built into the rock. And you can just see the rocks a foot away from the window. It almost looks like you're in a cave, which would be kind of scary if there wasn't the big bright window next to it. But it's just I don't know, dude, being able to see just
sounds perfect.
The granite rocks, it's cool. It's really cool. No solar
If you wanted
potential.
to be there forever, I would just say do it.
I know.
But if there's a chance you aren't, then it might just get complicated.
Yeah, I know. If I were already
possible to be
working from home,
anyone under 30 be hey, make a lifetime decision. Right. Most people that get married do that.
Right.
It's, anyway.
So, do you want to...
In the words of Marcus Hoppus in the song Damn It, off of Dude Ranch, quote, I guess this is growing up.
You want to do Now You Know? Oh, God. We have so many segments. Now You Know, highlight song.
Fucking segments, dude. This is your fault.
No.
Matt, Julie, sincere apology.
Caitlin.
Oh, yeah, hey. Hi, Caitlin. How are you?
Now you know. So, I have an article here from Snopes, who is super reliable, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, I remember...
Actually, don't share anything ever unless you've read 3 sources, and one of them is Snopes on the matter.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke, man.
In other words... read words if you're able to. F off everyone. Always. Anyway.
Okay, so here is...
Not you, just people that share things oh, that's a well-designed set of words and pictures. Oh, okay. Agrees with everything I thought it was supposed to be.
So, here is what I remember hearing a long time ago. I was really into recycling cans because I thought I was going to get rich from it when I was young. And I heard someone tell me that if you just take the tabs off of a soda can, of course I called it a pop can back then because I lived in Pennsylvania. The claim was that there was more aluminum in the tab than the entire rest of the can.
Can I stop you there for a quick interjection?
Sure.
In college, there was always a rumor that if you filled up a milk jug with beer tab cans, that there was some mystical Michigan brewery that would give you a free keg for returning them because of how much aluminum was in the tabs that they could cash in. Anyway, it's interesting. Maybe they're not parallel pieces of lore, but I find it interesting that you brought it up.
Okay. I need to find the other article here if you don't mind.
No, please do.
Really fast.
Yeah, I'll just chatter while you look. Basically, so every college dorm room or apartment that I have ever been in has on the windowsill either a half-gallon or full-gallon empty jug of milk that is maybe a tenth full, because it's would take an absurd amount of beer drinking. Even if somebody committed for the full 4 years, it would be hard to fill, and nobody does it for that long. There's always that
that's a lot, dude.
We're not going to make it, but there's never that forward thinking, and there's always that thought, or that's always part of the lore, we'll do it, we'll get to it. but it never happens. And would they really drive to Michigan? Like, why is the recycle? I want Snopes to dig into that one. Like, like how did that shit get started? Anyway.
Okay, awesome. Here we go. So this is on livestrong.com, and it there's a claim that like the aluminum in the tab is pure aluminum where the rest is not, and that's bullshit. It's all the same aluminum. So where do we go? Livestrong.com, which is a website by that cheater. It says that 1 pound of aluminum equals about 34 empty cans or 1,500 pool tabs. So that is way more pool tabs than the cans. Pool tabs, is that? Yeah, okay. That's the right thing.
There's way less in the tabs, of course.
Right. So also, this is from Snopes, if I can find the article again. All over the place with this one. Not quite prepared. Okay, so...
Well, easy with the Lance Armstrong's a cheater thing. Most people miss what we're doing it, and he raised a lot of money for cancer research, so it's like, what, in the end, good was done. So.
Sure.
And he was willing to show his face and take part in that recent HBO comedy special by Andy Samberg and company, Tour de Pharmacy, I think it was called, but it was kind of a rip on the Tour de France and biking in general. It's kind of funny. It's worth checking out, I guess.
I literally do not care about athletes, No,
it's not a 30 for 30. It's a comedy thing where like Terry Crews and Andy Samberg like pretend to be Lance Armstrong and like, where did biking go wrong? And they're like, maybe it was all the drugs. It's all right. It's worth a Sunday afternoon watch if you got nothing else to look at.
So one more little fact here. How much money do you think 1 million pull tabs would have in recycle value?
1 million?
1 million.
Let's see. One would be worth not even 5 cents, 2 cents maybe.
Okay. Is that what you're going with?
Well, what's a can? What's a bottle? 5 cents? So a can would be 3 to 5 cents, something like that, depending on what state.
Okay. So how many is 1 million?
That's 5 cents. So, 500,000. 100 bucks?
I don't think your math adds up there, but 100 pull tabs has the scrap metal value of 3.5 cents, meaning that 1 million would get you $366.
So my estimate of $100 falls in that realm?
Well, I thought you were saying 5 cents a tab.
No, I was just saying weird parts of my mental math out loud. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I was trying to be like 500,000. I was like, but then like my brain would be like, you can't go down that path. You've had too many beers for that. So like, yep, good call, brain. But then anyway, my final estimate was 100. I think that's on the record, right?
Sure. Okay.
And so that falls in between 66 and 300.
How much does a keg cost? Are you talking about like the actual physical keg or like a keg full of beer?
A keg full of beer. So like,
but you don't get to keep the keg.
Legend. I don't know if there's a Snopes article on this, but yeah, like I think probably everybody who's ever attended a state school and drank as much as any state school student would, you've heard the milk gallon jug pull tab like lore of like, oh yeah, if you fill it up, you get a free keg. No one really questions like from where or how. It's just like, dope. Could we do it? Like the question of could we over 4 years of alcohol abuse fill up? You know what I mean? Like, would it have to go into the handle too, or like does the handle? I don't know. It's just like, well, we filled it like maybe 1/50th after 4 parties, like 4 big parties, and that's 1 year gone by. I don't know, dude. We'll be drinking so much when we're seniors. Anyway, I'm curious. It's worth a Google, I guess, to see if anyone's ever actually done it.
Okay. So that's your fact of the week. I don't really know what it was at this point, but something about pull tabs versus a can.
Oh, I thought you took this week and I took last week.
I did.
What did you have last week?
No. Sorry, you had last week with the vitamin C, which actually.
Oh, right. I thought you were like. Okay, yeah.
So
yeah,
actually, to follow up from last week, I started getting really, really sick last night. Like, it hit me when I was driving home from work. Like, I felt like I was running a fever. My throat was hurting. Felt like my head was getting crushed.
I hate that sore throat feeling because I'm like, I'm f***ed. I'm going to eventually have to take a day off.
Right. So I called my boss, or I texted him. I was like, look, dude, I hope I'll be okay, but I'm starting to feel sick. If it gets worse, I'm not going to be coming in. And I was thinking, okay, if vitamin C doesn't work, and Megan, being, an herbalist, hooked me up with some stuff, and I felt better within like 2 hours, and it's almost like it never even happened now.
Were they nettles?
No, it was an echinacea glycerite, which is a non-alcoholic alternative to a tincture. It tastes like sugar water, and I loved it.
I'm going to go ahead and ask Megan every time I'm sick what I should do from now on.
You should, honestly, dude, you should. I mean, she has a tea or a tincture for anything, and I would be happy to send you some stuff.
Mixed with hydration and good rest, I'm sure.
Sure.
When Irfan, the Pakistani exchange student in high school, was around, he had a few over-the-counter like cough medicine pills when I had a sore throat once. And I guess this is just an anecdote that has been probably warped over the years because I was in high school at the time. But he was just like, here, try these. That's what, And I guess from country to country, of course, your, drug laws would be different in terms of limiting what would go on over-the-counter things. But whatever he gave me was pretty great because I feel like in America, you don't have they're going to make you go to the doctor to get it's officially a sore throat and I'm officially going to need some serious heavy hitters to get rid of, you know what I mean? In America, you can take all the vitamin C, Tylenol, drink all the orange juice, which is not real. You know what I mean? Like you can do all these over-the-counter things, but I mean, like if you have a sore throat and you're like, what if I have strep? I have to go to the doctor after 7 days of illness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he just gave me these pills and it was like almost a mix of a pain reliever and also I don't know. It was just an over-the-counter heavy hitter as far as I was concerned, and I was very, very intrigued.
Okay.
By his generous gift.
Sure. I think you've told that story
Maybe
before.
Maybe it just contained whatever Megan gave you, though.
Maybe. So
one of those novels that sells on Sunday morning infomercials, like this is what the farm industry doesn't want you to know. 2 words: nettles.
You want to do a highlight in a song?
Oh, man. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I started reading again.
Wow.
After a kind of a turbulent year of job searching and moving.
Right, yeah.
And doing distance with Jesse. But, I think I've read about as much Chuck Klosterman as I probably could. His latest book, Chuck Klosterman 10, which is just another collection of his essays that have been published over the past however many years. This one, I don't know if I'm just too used to I've read too many of his takes or what, but this one wasn't as good. Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs was really great. And Chuck Klosterman 8 or 9 was really good. But anyway, it was just kind of nice. The highlight, I guess, is I feel rested now. Like I feel at even. Whereas the past 2 weeks I've done nothing and just been sleeping and snoring through the past, so I talked to my parents on the phone last night and was like, what are you doing for Thanksgiving and Christmas? And they're like, I don't know, what are you? I'm like, I've put zero thought into any of this, now that I'm back at even keel, it's kind of nice to plan out the next few months of weekends and visiting friends and family and all that. So I guess it was nice. My highlight of the week is that I had enough time to just read a book, which was good.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, that's
life
huge.
has settled down, and yeah, I know it's not a very flashy highlight, but
but I think it means a lot though. Like it means more than just
it'll be nice to yeah, that's good. I feel bad. I was really kind of hurt by it. Like Chuck, usually you blow my mind, and how wasn't this magnificent? Also, the most unfair claim a fan can make. What about those anecdotes that make me laugh? One of 11 fans. Everyone else is probably like, yeah, it's Chuck. It's good. It's everything we could have asked for. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, God. Sleepy.
I feel pretty hurt that I made you yawn with that anecdote.
It has
I
nothing
will
to
never
do
do a highlight of the
with
week again.
the words
Sorry,
that just came out of
everybody.
your
Matt,
mouth.
Julie, I will not be returning to the program, unfortunately. And it's been I don't know if I'd call it an honor, but it's been a hell of a thing. I can say that much.
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to my super awesome, fun time, sexier highlight of the week.
Whoa. Sexier?
It was a little sexy. I was wearing some shorts.
Ooh.
Last Friday was the fall equinox, which I hate summer more than anything. And I went to an equinox like gathering with Megan and some of our coworkers. And
that sounds pretty trill.
It was good, man. Like, I really liked everyone that I met there and a lot of people that I already known. And, they were saying like the equinox is a good time, like a good marker for like a pretty big change or like, starting a new theme. And mine was kind of like just being more social, I've been keeping to myself for the past like 2 years or so, just really burying myself and, what I was doing, just being kind of like selfish. But I guess like in a good way, taking care of myself, And
you were starting a business as well.
Yeah. So all that, but I think I'm ready to start reaching out and hanging out with some people. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really nice night. The weather was nice. It was a little chilly. Ever since then, it's been like in the 50s in Colorado, and I literally could not be any happier. So it was good. It was good hanging out with people. It was a lot of fun. Just a good time.
Jesse and I were talking the other day about Albuquerque and how we look through our time there kind of through rose-colored lenses, but we realized that after it took like 2 years to like feel really in a good comfort zone. So I don't know if that helps at all, but
yeah,
it'll start getting more and more frequent here and there, and
it's coming up on a
moving
year.
to a new town is tough and kind of exhausting, actually. So
yeah. Oh, dude, speaking of, it's almost been a year. Yesterday or maybe the day before was the 1 year anniversary of the first time we recorded together. Did you see that?
I did. Happy anniversary, bro.
You too, man. Like we did that 3-hour episode and we only aired like 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, I was a little hurt that you only included the Nickelback thing totally out of context in the social post.
So
I was like, that wasn't all we talked about.
I know. We had a really good conversation.
It was a little more nuanced.
We had a really good conversation, but my microphone was buzzing throughout the entire thing, and I didn't quite have the tools to fix buzzing when I put that episode out. So maybe someday I'll have to do, like, maybe if we miss a week, I'll just put out the entire episode.
Oh man, I forget. That was so long ago. I can't believe how many times I walked into my own closet in my apartment and just like was there for a while. When you think about it, the physicality of that act is a bit odd. But yeah, once a week for about 2 hours, I would just like enter one of my closets in my apartment. Like, so if like a neighbor of mine, like if another person was sitting there, like, hey, I'll be right back. Like an hour later, I just come out of, a coat and closet. It's like, hey, yeah, cool. I do that like once a week, no big deal. Anyway, it's been a hell of a thing, like I said before. And now we have Ron Carnage. Who would have thought? It took us a year to come up with a character that will help us both still be kind of into it, I guess.
Hey, dude, the 1 week that we didn't record, I think I was actually like pretty depressed that week. I felt like something was missing. Something was definitely missing. I felt it, and I feel like
we'll have to get Zach on in one of these weeks, and I feel like there's an ebb and flow. Every once in a while, Zach pops loose, and one of us is on vacation, and there's a different. But yeah, we're definitely back into like the main groove of it now.
Sure.
Now that I'm all settled in here and things like that.
I'm loving it.
Well, that went from 50 minutes to 115, or an hour and 15. Pretty quick.
Song of the week. We'll get out of here.
John.
As mentioned previously in the episode, Chance's. He unveiled it on Colbeirt this week. Chance the Rapper's song called First World Problems. I believe Pitchfork had music videos to both of these on their Twitter feed, if it helps you find them. And my other one, my real one, I'm just mentioning that because you mentioned that, and I was like, oh, shit, I was going to say something. Anyway, it's a song called Continental Breakfast. One of my favorite Australian singer-songwriters, Courtney Barnett, teamed up with Kurt Vile. They're coming out with an album in early to mid-October, but there was a music video for the hit. I don't know if it's the hit off of it, but anyway, their shit's starting to become available, and this tune called Continental Breakfast was good, man. Good guitar work, good lyrics. Just Courtney Barnett has a nose for melodies, and it is just really outstanding. I don't know much about Kurt Vile, but I've heard a lot. A lot of my friends from college were fans of his, so I'm kind of excited for that record. And that song was nice, and the music video was cute. It's like raw footage of them with their families and things like that. But yeah, First World Problems by Chance the Rapper and Continental Breakfast by Kurt Vile and Courtney Barnett.
All right. I have a song by Odesza. It's called Line of Sight, and it's featuring WYNNE Wyn.
Sure.
Wyn and Mansioner.
When in doubt, say when.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really, really killer song. It's like they're like an electronic band, but for their new album that just came out like last week, they've been bringing in more like soulful singers, kind of. And I don't know, dude, the song just kills me. I love it. Been jamming that a lot too.
Excellent.
What did you think?
Also, yeah. Okay, so Deep in a Hole was the name of the EP, or was the name of the band?
EP. The band was Touch Gold. Deep in a Hole was also
Deep in a Hole was good.
Yeah.
It was the EP had 3 tunes on it. The full
5.
record. Okay. It started out really strong. Deep in a Hole, the title track, like you said, I think last week, was strong.
Yeah.
I turned it on at work, and time passed, and by the end of it, I was like hearing more screaming than I'm used to in my ear, and I looked, and it was still that. I thought it had changed. It definitely gets heavier as the record goes on. Some people might like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't or won't. But for me, yeah, it opened strong. It was a nice, good guitar, strong guitar sound. And yeah, like I said last week, I've been listening to more full albums on YouTube lately, so it was good to have a new one in the mix.
Yeah, I like the first song like way more than the rest. Like by an order of magnitude more than any other song on that. And thought
I'm going to say that
I thought you'd like it.
It wasn't like, so I haven't listened to it that much, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times so far. Plus there's the whole EP. I forgot which one you told me to listen to specifically.
The first one.
If I listen to it more, I might bump it up to great. But I don't think it's excellent or great, but I think it's strong. I think it's good. You know what I mean? Sure. It definitely comes at you like, okay, you know, like if you're inclined to enjoy whatever that sound is, you'll get it right away and probably want to hear the whole thing. I thought it was good.
So I listened to Thinking of a Place by War on Drugs, and it was funny because you mentioned like it's a good like cruising song or whatever. And Megan and I went on a hike in this place called Conifer that was beautiful. It was like 40 degrees and raining. That's when I got sick, was after that. But we were actually listening to it as we were driving, and I was like, oh yeah, he told me to listen to it. It's like a good cruising song. And it was like, I get it, you know? I liked it. I didn't love it. But if someone
it's very slow paced.
Yeah, like if someone put it on in the car, I would not be upset about it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they have a new album that song is not on. That was a single separately. As far as I can tell, that album is similarly paced.
Okay.
So I think if you like the War on Drugs, you're going to be like, cool. I get like the next hour is just going to be like super paced, decent guitar work, real good lyrics, or like I guess real good lyrics and guitar work, depending on which Pitchfork or Rolling Stone review you read. But it's definitely paced, and that might bug some people. But Thinking of a Place, I've listened to enough. I think it was on my radar during my drives to and from Cleveland and Cincinnati when Jess and I were still doing distance.
Ooh,
so
yeah,
it was definitely like moving through the dark, you know, as I was passing Columbus and things like that. So perhaps some sentimental value there for me. But yeah, I'm glad you gave it a chance.
Yeah, I liked it.
I don't love it. I don't love them either. If that makes you feel like a little more on the same page, I just for whatever this is like I have a buddy from college who loves the war on drugs and like the Japan droids and things like that, and I just can't quite love either because he's cooler than me, I guess. But no, he doesn't push it on me. I'm just like I wish I did like him more. I just don't. But I'm glad I was able to at least enjoy this one.
Yeah. Well, cool beans. You want to call it at that?
Yeah, I suppose so. Julie, Matt, Aaron, Zach.
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Wow, dude, we have 2 reserves for a basketball team. This is almost a starting 9 for a baseball squad. This is getting real. Yeah. Love you, man.
Love you too, dude. I'll talk to you before next week, but certainly next week.
All right. Take care.
All right, dude. Bye.
Giving the people what they want.
Back by popular demand.
Do not use that. All right. We shall resume. Please actually do not use that.
Okay.
Giving the people what they want. Like, what the